Let us build a house where love can dwell and all can safely live. A place where saints and children tell how hearts learn to forgive. Built of hopes and dreams and visions, rock of faith and vault of grace. Here the love of Christ shall end divisions. All are welcome, all are welcome, all are welcome in this place.
Good day, friends. Thank you so much, first of all, for agreeing to give of your time on Sunday mornings to our children and youth. They're really important to me, and I know that they're really important to you. And the following video is to help prepare you to give your best to them. So I hope that you watch and enjoy. And if you have any questions, feel free to email me, or you can always call as well. If you see me on a Sunday morning and ask a question, just feel free to also follow up with putting a note in my box or sending me an email. Sometimes a lot of people come up and want to talk to me, and I don't want to forget what you say because it's really important to me. Thanks. Last year in our 4th and 5th grade class, Jane Murphy and I developed a ritual that she did with all of her classes throughout the year. And that ritual in the beginning of the class is a great way to center our kids to what we're about to do. And so the ritual basically is lighting a candle. You can ask a child to light the candle. Maybe it's the first one that gets there. Maybe it could be anyone really. It could be you or someone else, a guest in the room. We light a candle and we do sort of a centering. Jane uses a breathing ball, like we do in the first Sunday of the month. And then after they've had some time to meditate, we can open it up for prayer. And at first, the kids might not pray for like real things. They might, because they're getting a hang on what this all is. But just give it time. We want each class this year to start with this ritual. So the ritual is candle, which I'll have ready for you on Sunday. Candle, meditation. If you would like a breathing ball, let me know and I'll order one for you. And prayer. Please don't take longer than 5 minutes for this, particularly for classes that have guests coming in, like the 4th grade and the 5th grade classes. Oftentimes those facilitators have prepared whole lessons and want to make sure that they get to that. So if you are the the room person for the 4th grade class and the 5th grade class, please don't let your ritual go longer than 5 minutes in the beginning. Some of your rooms have changed this year. You might be in a different room than you were last year. That is for a couple of reasons. First of all, we are offering centering prayer this Sunday, on Sundays, ongoing, like we have been on Thursday nights. We're going to be using room 212. So Maureen, your 3rd graders are going to be moving to 207. 207 is also the large muscle room. That's where we had contemporary theologies before. That's being moved to another area of the building. So Maureen, the Bible class, will now be in 207. Another change this year is we've noticed that the 4th and 5th grade class is giant. It's so big, which is a great problem to have. But we want to make sure that those kids have space to ask questions and be creative and to bond. So we have split 4th grade and 5th grade up into 2 classes. Marcy Moss, who was with the 3rd graders last year, will move with them, with the 4th graders. Now their 4th graders will move with them and be their room person throughout the year. So she'll be doing something similar to what Jane did with the 4th and 5th graders. So our 4th graders this year will be in room 206, which is where the 4th and 5th grade class was. So the 4th graders will be in room 206, with our 5th graders being moved down to room 107 on the 1st floor. Because we've kind of jumbled around, we had to figure out where to put the 6th and 7th graders, so they get their very own room in the basement, study room 1. That leaves pre-K still in the same room, 209. K1 is still in the Godly Playroom, 204. And 2nd grade, you'll still have 205. I think that's everybody. Oh yeah, and the youth group is still in the youth room, and 8th grade owl is still in the 8th grade owl room, number 200. If you have any questions or you need anything in your rooms, please let me know. You are more than welcome to make an appointment and come and do stuff in your room throughout the week. It gets a little bit tricky with some of the rooms because we share those rooms with MECC. So you just have to email me or give me a call or let me know when you're going to come in, and I can make arrangements to make that happen depending on the time. We try to make sure you have everything you need in your attendance folder. If you ever need something that's not in the attendance folder, just let me know. I'd be happy to make sure to supply it for you and probably for everyone else. It's probably going to be a great idea, so we want to make sure everybody has it, right? So in those folders, I just kind of want to go through what you're going to find. You are going to find a calendar for the faith formation year. This calendar has all the dates for all the things going on. This can be really helpful to know what's going on in other rooms, what's going on in the life of the church, and also if there's any themes that you want to use in your classroom, you could maybe find it on the faith formation calendar. The other thing you're going to find is a sign-in sheet. If you notice a child's name isn't on the sign-in sheet, it's because they haven't registered for Sunday school or faith formation programs in general. If their name is not on the sign-in sheet, if you could please give a registration sheet to the parents and have them fill that out before they leave, so we can make sure we have information like growth areas and strength areas and dietary challenges and allergies. These are all really important things that we want to make sure we know. We also want to make sure that we have updated information for parents, like the best email, their cell phone, whether or not we can text them, and also if the kids have a preferred name or a preferred pronoun. These are really helpful things to have too, which you'll find on the registration sheet this year. It's been updated to include some of these new things. Also on the registration sheet is an area for parents to show what they might want to be involved in with faith formation. As you all know, this takes a village, and it's really helpful to have people let us know how they can be helpful in making sure that we provide a really awesome and safe enough environment of learning and exploration for our kids. Another thing you'll find in the folder is contact sheets. A couple different kinds. The first contact sheet that's really important that you'll want to make sure you know is the contact sheet for all of you. It also has our substitutes on there. So if you need a substitute teacher, you can reach out to them. If you have a hard time, if after you've reached out to all the substitute teachers and you are still unable to find a substitute, please let me know. If you do need a substitute and you found one, also please let me know, just so I know who's going to be there that day, and I can, if it's a substitute, I can check in and make sure if there's anything that they need and that they feel comfortable. Another contact sheet you'll find is a contact sheet for all of the children and parents that we have in our database who may not be registered, but it's just everybody. I thought this would be a helpful addition to the folder this year. Next thing you're going to find is a lesson plan spreadsheet. There are two different kinds. You're going to see a big one for everybody in the supply room and in my office. In your folder will be a lesson plan spreadsheet just for your class. And on that lesson plan spreadsheet will be things that you either can take into consideration doing or things that you must do. And I will make sure that you know which ones are musts. There are some things like stewardship has asked us to do some stuff on stewardship in our classrooms, and I'll be able to resource you with some curriculum ideas for that. That's October 27th and November 3rd that we'll want to offer stewardship stuff. We'll also be giving the kids their pledge cards that day and asking them to really think about how they want to give to Mayflower and how that could reflect how they give in their lives when they're older. And each of you can choose kind of a different way to go with that if you'd like, but I'll offer some resources to make sure that that is a really successful part of their journey in faith formation. Other necessaries that you must do are, we are doing an Advent pageant this year. So it's not a Christmas pageant. I've written an Advent pageant which follows the Lucan story of Mary and Elizabeth and the coming of Jesus and John the Baptist and Zechariah, and in all those areas has the angel Gabriel. And all of the classes and faith formation programs will be part of that, from preschool, maybe kindergarten, from preschool all the way up to the youth group. And each class will have a different sort of role in that. Most of the classes will have non-speaking roles, and some of the older classes and programs will have narrator roles. And there are a couple of characters, like I believe Zechariah is a character, Mary is a character, Elizabeth is a character, and the angel Gabriel, which is a big character because he's in all four of the scenes. So more information on that, and I'll be sending a letter home to parents to let them know what's going on and what's to be expected of them. And that will happen only in the 11 a.m. service on the first Sunday of December. So more on that to be revealed, and you'll see when rehearsals for that should be in your classrooms, and that's on the lesson plan spreadsheet along with lots of other stuff. Facilitator schedule. This is something we tried last year and some classes used very successfully. Because of safe church policy, we should always have 2 adults in the room. However, we don't need to have 3 adults in the room. That can get a little overwhelming for our kids. So it's best for y'all to make sure that you schedule when you're going to be there so that you know when you have time off. We want to make sure that you have time to go to adult education classes, maybe even stay home every once in a while. Don't tell anyone I said that. Or time where you just want to hang out in the fireside room and chat with friends and have coffee. We want to make sure you have those opportunities. So we'll have the facilitator schedule in there again. Please utilize it. It was a really helpful tool for a few classes last year. And if there's a way that I can improve it, please let me know. I'm happy to listen to whatever ways you think we can make this better together. Another thing that will be in your folders is from the registration sheets. We'll create a kind of a spreadsheet of dietary needs, growing edges, and strengths. That way you don't have all those. We're going back to paper registration sheets this year, so you don't have such a thick folder. I thought we'd just put the things that you need. If there's other information from those registration sheets that you want to know, please let me know and I'll make sure to add it to your folder at some point. On the outside of the folder, we'll have the Safe Church Guidelines again. These are just helpful things to know about how to make sure we're creating a safe enough environment for our children. If there are things on there that you have questions about, please feel free to reach out to one another. I think that y'all can be really helpful resources to each other with Safe Church. If you've reached out to each other and you still don't know, feel free to contact me. I'm happy to answer any questions as best I can. The next thing you'll find on there is blank weekly lesson updates. These are new, and this is from basically parents wanting to kind of know what their kids are doing in their faith formation programs. And this is for everyone. This is from preschool all the way to youth group. We want to know what you're doing in your class. And then at the end of Sunday, when I've received all those sheets, I'll send a quick email home to parents. This is just so that a way parents and children and youth can have conversations about what they're learning and how they're growing in church together, and they can do this throughout the week at the dinner table, in the car on the way to school, in the car on the way to lessons and sporting events, and sitting around and talking together. That's what it's all about. If we had so we were planning on doing this in person. However, because Gathering Sunday happened indoors, it became a challenge because our room was being used for the lunch area part of the Gathering Sunday. So one of the things I was going to have us do is to collectively decide on a procedure for substitution. But since we can't be together in a room, I thought we would just try what we did last year again. And basically what that is you would contact the substitutes on the contact list. If you get through that whole list and no one gets back to you or no one is available, then go ahead and reach out to me and I'll work on finding a substitute for you. But it's easier if there's some proactivity on your behalf on finding a substitute. But I'm happy to help after you've exhausted that list. We are really blessed to have such a cool supply room at Mayflower. We have more supplies than we could ever use in 1 week, right? So I wanted to talk about supply room etiquette. When you need supplies in the supply room, there are a lot of different boxes, plastic boxes that have supplies in them. Please leave the boxes in the room and take what you need out of the boxes. Also, please keep the boxes in their area. They are alphabetized for easier finding. If you run out of a supply, please make sure to put a note in my box or email me so that I can order more of that thing. We're going to try to make sure that each room has some of the necessities in it from the start of the year. So that each room has scissors and glue sticks and markers and pencils and crayons and a little bit of paper. We want to make sure each room has, and a few Bibles. We want to make sure that each room have those supplies, so those aren't the things that you need to go to the supply room for. That the supply room is for things like pony beads and felts and hot glue guns and all kind button make. We have a couple button makers up there. Like, we have all kinds of stuff that you might not need to use every Sunday. Feel free to use it. Just make sure that you keep the boxes in their alphabetized area and you take what you need. And if you take more than you need, just put it back in the box at the end. I'm going to adhere to this too because I also don't follow this rule. This is something new and I think it's going to help us all out. If for some reason you need something else that's not in the supply room and you know this in advance, like a few days in advance, you don't need to spend your money on it and you don't need to go get it either. I'm happy to help. You just need to let me know what you need and I can make sure to supply it for you. If you do buy things for your classroom, we would love to reimburse you. If it's less than $50, please go ahead and do it. If it's going to be more than $50, ask me first so I can make sure we have it in our budget. But you would fill out a reimbursement sheet that's found in the office there are like, I'm looking at it right now. There's like a bunch of folders right outside Thor's door that has the reimbursement sheets in it. You just want to fill that out and put it in my box, and I'll make sure a check gets cut for you. Usually takes about 2 weeks to get reimbursed. So if you have any questions or additions to this, feel free to email or call. These are also YouTube videos, so feel free to leave a comment on the bottom of the screen. Other people might have the same questions and want to see the answers. That could be a really fun way for us to have a conversation. If you have any additions, those, please feel free to email me. I'll ask you not to add it in the comment section, but if you have any additions, email me first and we can talk about those additions. But again, thank you so much for giving your time. Oh, the other thing, I forgot one thing. The other thing in the supply room are snacks. Please use the snacks. I added some applesauce last year in those little containers. Those seem to go over big. If there are other snacks you want to see that are gluten-free, dairy-free, nut-free, free of all those things so all the kids can enjoy the snacks, let me know. I'm happy to buy new things and try new things. But yeah, so thank you so much.